Charles sobs bitterly as Harry blatantly lies about his upbringing, saying, "I was raised by the people of Africa." Say, "Howdy, pals. You've reached Royal Family News Update, where we bring you the latest updates on the life of the Queen and her heir apparent, Prince Harry." Now available on Netflix, Harry's documentary features a startling assertion, the likes of which he had never spoken of before. And it was a missile that was supposed to cause Charles a great deal of shame. Harry claimed that he was raised by African friends. What Oprah would say is, "What?" Since he was adopted and raised by a local family in Africa, Harry never experienced being an orphan. The utter lack of sense in his words is astounding. Can anyone explain where Harry could possibly get his hands on something like this? Do we know if Markle instructed Dimwit to make that statement? And, of course, she did. It was all Harry could do to keep from poking fun at his sibling. As for William, he commented, in other words, it was akin to a rite of passage, and some family members might have said things like, "My wife had to go through that. Why should you get special treatment? Why should she be protected?" Harry continued by saying, "And I am my mother's son," alluding to Diana and taking another jab at Charles. He went on to say that men in his family marry women who fit the mold, but he didn't qualify this by saying they never marry narcissists, grifters, bullies, or liars. "We were working royals and weren't allowed to tell our story." With one eye closed and a tear welling up, the actress explained the story of how they first met, which directly contradicts what Harry had said earlier. Harry told the BBC in 2017. Even though Harry said they met over Instagram in the first episode that was just released, everyone knows that it was a blind date and that he and Meghan were set up. As for how he proposed, Harry said, "In the North Garden being overlooked by the staff flats, I got 15 of those electric candles. Of course, I got down on my knee. It seems that lies roll off Markle's tongue at a terrific rate, and she doesn't care that they contradict earlier lies." Harry said, "It happened a few weeks ago, earlier this month, here at our cottage. Just a standard, typical night for us." Meghan followed up, saying, "It was the most amazing night of my life. Recently, we were busy roasting a chicken. It was a pleasant and natural surprise, and it had a romantic undertone as I was trying to roast a chicken. After that, he knelt down. And this is just the beginning. Markle is prepared to use racism against the family in the worst possible way, so hold on to your hats." People working at the palace are aware that Markle is insanely jealous of Catherine and her children. William's wife will need protection from the evil bile and nastiness that is coming her way. Despite this direct attack, Harry and Meghan are still seen as cynical, selfish, and outright liars. As one insider put it, Harry and Meghan are restless because of the loyalty of the British people to the royal family. If you're really interested in this, you won't waste your time with the trailer. Illusions persist. To think they'd ask for seclusion. It's dull, all over the place, and doesn't offer anything new. What an immature, fake, and pretentious display of kissing the dup is. Inexcusably tasteless. How on earth does Netflix afford such dribble? They have no idea how embarrassing, entitled, petulant, immature, and narcissistic they are. Not to mention the hurtful, disgraceful, and never-ending mudslinging. I eagerly anticipate the day when all their lies are exposed. They don't need airtime. Should be stripped of all titles. The prince's title was put in abeyance. Removed from loss and permanently exiled. Palace should issue a statement to this effect and take legal action against the libelous individuals. Tell them to get waiter, waitress jobs, date within their means, and put a sock in their evil mouths. Multiple reports echo the same sentiment. Markle despises Catherine and plans to relentlessly attack her with racist allegations, despite the fact that everyone knows the actress can't hold a candle to Catherine's natural grace, dignity, and sophistication. Everyone who works at the palace knows that she is insanely jealous of Catherine and her children. Will King Charles step in to shield Catherine and the future of the monarchy from her evil bile and nastiness? After learning that Catherine had been named the Princess of Wales, Meghan went into a tailspin and now appears determined to prevent Prince William and Catherine from ever becoming monarch. I don't think this has anything to do with race, Rather, I think Meghan was expecting to be crowned queen as soon as possible and was hurt when she learned that Catherine had been given that honour instead. Leave the UK alone. No jewels or duchy to get her claws on? Dream on, Meghan. She's using the gullible woke folk to try to break the monarchy, perhaps getting King Charles to split everything between Prince William and Harry. Also, William met Catherine at college, got to know her quite well, and even gave her a cooling-off period to make sure she knew what she was getting into before he proposed to her. William knew his wife very well indeed on the day they got married and ensured she knew what she was getting into, in stark contrast to that dipshit brother of his, whom we should now refer to as the traitor after this week's fiascos. Though they have been directly attacked, Harry and Meghan are still widely viewed as cold-hearted self-seekers and pathological liars. According to a source from the perspective of someone who is actually interested, the material in the trailer is garbage. The deceitful behavior persists. To think they'd ask for seclusion. Everything about it is dull, disjointed, and repetitive. Immature, false, and pretentious as the dup kissing. Inexcusably tasteless. Yet again, the pair's clothing choice is slovenly and inappropriate. How can Netflix afford such dribble? They also have no idea how embarrassing, entitled, petulant, immature, and narcissistic they are. Not to mention the hurtful, disgraceful, and never-ending mudslinging. The trailer is boring, and I hope the Tasmanian catches up with the hypocritical three co-warriors and faux humanitarians. There aren't many new photos, and the ones that are there are obviously photoshopped. Tell them to get a job as a waiter, waitress and love within their means and to put a sock in their evil mouths. Treacherous, traitors and abusers. Just idle and ringing. So boring, forceful, and overbearing. They have to face God for their evil ways. Not sure how long we have to wait for them to implode. From a single commenter. I am curious about the lack of a fraud label on those trailers too. False, check. Deliberately misleading or false statements, check. Affluence, check. In what way is this not a scam? They're being pursued right now, and it turns out Katie Price was behind it. As Trump's legal team exits the car, they are met by a mob of onlookers. They're being swarmed by photographers, but it's not the premiere of The Traitor's Wife. The It's Harry Potter films, released long before The Traitor's Wife was even known in the UK. When unscrupulous photographers try to sneak aerial shots of Archie, it's these three accredited pros who show up, ready to pose as instructed. Cheating, lying, and intentional deception. Let me know what you think about Harry's fabricated stories about his dad. Feel free to share your opinions in the space provided below. The video was made with the intention of being instructive, and we certainly hope that it has been. You can show your appreciation by subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and sharing it with your friends. I hope you've enjoyed this newsletter and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.